Hey there, friends. How are you all doing today? Marty here, and this video is serving two purposes. First off, to celebrate and congratulate my friend Eric Bauer for hitting the milestone of 2,000 subscribers. Gentleman's been at it for quite a while and just hit it. It seems to be some people just rise to it fast. All us other old poor bastards have to struggle and scrap to get to 2,000, but we made it, he made it, and he deserves 2,000 more. In light of this momentous occasion, he has put forth a contest that I finally have time to participate in, and I wanted to share some stuff. Eric's contest, he has asked for people to show off 4 titles that mean a lot to them. Music that means a lot to them, has some sort of significance to them, and one of which needing to have a cop on it, which, I don't know, that was a lot harder for me to find than you would think it is, but the light did finally go on. But he's giving away some prizes and stuff. Definitely go over to his channel and watch his contest. He does like a collection update and then tags on a contest entry at the end. Definitely go check that out and participate, because he deserves the reciprocation of ideas, and it's a cool contest. You should definitely check it out. But anyway, Eric's contest. Initially, I wasn't going to do it because I've kind of done videos like this before in the past, where discussing things, albums that have a lot of significance to me. And so instead of rehashing the same title as I've already shown, I thought this time around I would maybe dig a little bit deeper, think about it a little bit harder, and maybe kind of go back to the origins. And in doing so, I'm showing original things that I've had in my collection since when they came out. And yeah, so I'm trying to keep it OG here for Eric. And in the background, if you can hear the creepy evil transcending the airwaves, we've got Mare or Mare with Spheres Like Death, Throne of the 13th Witch. Oh, I don't know if we can get that away from the glare. There we go. These guys are Norwegian black metal. This is on Territor Productions. We got Creepy Dude in a Cellar. I think this is the latest album. Not entirely sure. But yeah, I'm on a bit of a black metal roll again, which is odd because it's been a couple years. I find myself trying to refamiliarize myself with things I've missed, and Norwegian black metal's always been a fave, so I've kind of landed there and picking up stuff. This stuff is okay. It's pretty good. This is my first or second time listening to it. It's more, I think, focused on ideology and overall atmosphere than it is actual song composition. But the intent is pretty cool, and these guys are okay. Am I blown away? No, I am not. But like I said, first or second listen, we'll see. We'll see if the fingers of Satan work their way up and down my spine on this or not. But probably not. First off, let's talk about things that mean a lot to me. And this band, I don't think I've shown this before, but this band is huge in my world. And this came out, what year did this come out? Not entirely sure. This came out in 75. I picked this up in 77. I was 6 years old, or maybe it was 78, 6 or 7 years old. But it's Kiss Alive. This is the original record I bought, or my grandmother bought for me, to be honest. I've had this since I was a kid. It's in great shape. I've spun it a million times. Even has the booklet, which is all there. In fact, I just spun this the other day, and it plays great, which, much to my amazement. You know, my son is 10, and he can't take care of shit, and he breaks everything. You know, I had this when I was younger than 10, and it has withstood the test of time all these years, and it's still playable, and it still means a lot to me. Why does this mean a lot to me? I've recently kind of decided that Kiss is one of my favorite bands, if not my favorite, the favorite band, which from an underground perspective might seem odd to admit, but it's true. This is the band that has been in my wheelhouse since I've been a child. And this band has been, maybe I should put it over here. This band has been probably one of my closest friends for my entire life. Through thick or thin, doesn't matter what I'm into. I always come back to Kiss. If I need to feel in a good mood, if I want to listen to music that I can instantly connect with, sing along with, act like a fool to, it's Kiss. And, I've listened to these albums so many times, there's no longer any deep cuts in their collection. So, yeah, there might be moments where I'm a little burnt out on them, with the hits and the classic stuff, but it all erodes standing in the face of nostalgia. Nostalgia, I find the older I get, the more important nostalgia is to me. Listening to this stuff makes me feel young again. I remember sitting in my old room as a kid, staring at the cover of this with the cutout wooden flying V, jumping around like a fool in front of the mirror, singing along with this stuff. A dream I didn't really, a musical dream, playing out live, I didn't really realize until much later in life. But it's that spark, given, whether you want to call this, cheesy bubblegum pop or glam or shitty rock, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I understand that. I agree with you on a lot of those points. But the fact of the matter is, this band was the spark that set my musical journey in full motion and full swing. And, I'll always love them for that. This band changed my life. I don't know what I would have been, who I would have been without music in my life, to be completely honest. I've met so many wonderful people and done so many cool things, and over the years, this was the spark. And for that, cheers to Kiss. You're going to be seeing a lot more of them in my catalog lately because I'm on a tear. But anyway, moving on. We're going to go much further into my musical development, hitting about the teenage years. Kiss was a big part of my life for a lot of years, and it got to the point where my room was completely plastered with the classic Kiss posters. When I heard this band, and bands like Ozzy and Dio and all those bands leading up to this point, I remember the day I ripped all those Kiss posters down out of my room and said, I don't need this junk anymore. I can't listen to this shit anymore. I listen to thrash metal. I listen to heavy rock, metal, Iron Maiden, Dio, fuck Kiss. I still kick myself because there were some classic posters that probably have been worth some money. But that band was Metallica. This is Ride the Lightning. This is the OG tape that I bought back in the day when I was a teenager in 1984. I remember hearing this band for the first time on the WNMC, which is a college radio station here in town. Their metal show. Keith was the guy's name. He always sounded like he was stoned out of his mind. And I think he played Trapped Under Ice. And no, Fight Fire with Fire was the first song I heard by Metallica. I remember laughing and saying, this is garbage, what the fuck? Because, I was Dio, Ozzy, Maiden, traditional metal. Hearing this stuff amped up fast with yelling, screaming style was a lot to take. In fact, as I was younger, I typically hated everything first before I had time to sit with it and let it germinate. Merciful Fate was a big one for me too, that I laughed and thought shit sucked when I first heard it because of those vocals. But when that shit clicked, man, the light bulb was forever on. But this tape means a lot to me. And, I've gotten this on CD and LP over the years. And what I have typically done, like a dumbass over the years, is purged my cassettes as I've gotten shit on CD or LP. Typically CD. I don't usually get rid of tapes until I have the CD. But some of the shit I just couldn't let go of. I've spun this tape so many times. It still plays fine. This is the Electra pressing of this. Came out in 84. I just can't let go of this shit. My kid will have to deal with it someday, whether he'll like it or not. Probably not, but this was a big band for me. This band set me on the trajectory of thinking heavier, thinking faster, thinking deeper, more intricate. Metallica. And I think a lot of you, if you would sit and think, I mean, Metallica's been around a long time. I think they're kind of seen as a dad rock band now. I still like some of the stuff they do. Have they put out a lot of great shit over the years? No, it's been pretty hit or miss, but they're still relevant today. And I think if you really sit and think about it, you would have to really realize how much this band means to you as well. Next up, this band. This is one of my favorites, and this album is completely the most vicious, searing thrash album ever, and for it, and the songwriting is immense, and it features Steve DiGiorgio, who is the best bass player, bar none, on the planet. This album is Sadist, Illusions, Chemical Exposure. This was put out by Sadist themselves. Sadist Records back in the day. Got this at Camelot Music. Never been able to part with this album. In fact, you can see how it's kind of bleached out from sitting in the sun. Some of the text on the tape itself is starting to wear off a little bit from greasy, slimy fingers touching it. But this band, I mean, I could still put this on and be teleported to a younger time, a younger era. I remember making out with the first girl I ever kissed, listening to Certain Death, which probably she didn't think it was very romantic, but I'll never get rid of this tape because of it. Holy fuck, what a rager. Searing fast thrash metal, the bass, that Rickenbacker bass tone cuts through the fucking harsh snarl of these guitars, and Darren Travis's vocals are just completely searing, ear-piercing, like a razor to your eardrums. Jesus, man. This is very influential as well. It made me appreciate a faster, more aggressive thrash tone, which I think in a lot of ways prepared me for what was to come with grind and death metal. Next up, this album is probably not the cool one of the batch to show, as I think a lot of people will show The Skull or Psalm 69, Psalm 9. I'm having a fucking major brain fart. The first Trouble album. But this is Run to the Light. This is the actual cassette that I bought when it came out back in the day. And this album was very much this was my woe is me, you poor, lonely, stupid bastard music to play. Out of all the Doom stuff, this is probably the traditional Doom era. I mean, I love Candlemass. I love Epicus Doomicus. I love Nightfall. That stuff has a special place in my heart for being my downer music. But this album alone, there is a vibe to this. There was a misery to this album and sadness, an underlying sadness that really cut through. And some of the lyrics I really connected with on this as well, that cut through more so than any of their other albums. I love most of their stuff up to a certain point, but this album was always my go-to when I was feeling down and lonely, and like I said, like someone shit in my Wheaties. This is the album I turn to sit there and feel sorry for myself. And in spite of that, yeah, that misery is there, but the songs are also really good. Eric Wagner's pained, screamed vocals, scream/sung vocals, really cut into the heart. Really good stuff. We were only supposed to pick 4, one of which was supposed to have a cop on it. So I'm cheated and I picked 5. I could have picked 100 of these things. The cop thing was difficult because, let's face it, metal, traditional metal, doesn't have a lot of cops on it. That typically is a topic that goes for more the punk and hardcore, which I am into some of that stuff, but I have a very minuscule amount of it compared to, Pat, Eric, Jason, all those guys. But this band, after me thinking, what the hell am I going to do? I can't think of anything with a cop on it. All of a sudden the light bulb came on, and Cryptic Slaughter's Convicted. There's a cop right there. He's holding the key. Is he going to be able, are those dudes going to be able to get out to rock tonight? I don't know, but that guy is dead for sure. And why is this an influential album for me? Well, I knew nothing about this band other than it was on Death Records, which was a division of Metal Blade. And since there was no internet back in the day, you tend to go to your Camelot music store and start looking in the metal section and to find music by bands that were on a certain label. Metal Blade never steered me wrong. So I blind bought this record when it came out. And this thing set me on a course to really appreciating crossover music on a level rarely touched upon with this much conviction. Cryptic Slaughter is one of those bands that very much seems overlooked, though they were very influential. And for a California-based band, they always struck me as far more serious and aggressive than a lot of like the Venice area, like bands like Excel, bands like DRI. I mean, DRI's first couple albums are fucking awesome. They're fire for sure, but to me, DRI got a little silly as they went on. Cryptic Slaughter maintained this really almost damn near grind element to them throughout their first three albums. The fourth album, they Speak Your Piece, they completely changed style, and it sucks. But is this my favorite Cryptic Slaughter album? Probably not, but it's certainly amongst the most vicious. This whole thing is just a scorcher, half-paced, halftime blasts. This is before blast beats were really a major thing. What year was this? This is 84, I believe. Shit. My eyes are fucked. Might even have been 86. So, I mean, was Napalm happening at this time? Probably. But they had yet to hit my ears, so I had not really heard grindcore yet. But this album was fast and completely searing. The vocals were just completely screamed and wretched. And their second album, Money Talks, was a lot more polished. A little more punk, sided a little bit more on the punk side. This is certainly great crossover between metal and hardcore, and just that super fast, unrelenting beat hurled this into a level of intensity that a lot of bands in this style were touching on but didn't really maintain throughout their entire career. I think probably Stream of Consciousness, even though is the worst sounding of the first three, is probably my favorite. The songs on that are great, and I really love the garagey feel of the recording, but this isn't a great album, and it's got a cop on it, so that covered my ass and my bases for this contest. But there you go. There is my contest entry for Mr. Bauer, and I would encourage all of you to go over and check out Eric Bauer's channel. He's a lovely and talented human being and a great friend, and also he has High Defamation podcast, which I'm not quite sure if he's going to continue doing that, which is kind of a bummer, but I understand it's a lot to juggle. But check out High Defamation podcast on whatever podcast services you use. It's really great, very informative. He's a natural at it, to be completely honest. Always full of information. But that's it. That's my video, and I hope you're all doing well, and wear a fucking mask.